All right, let's pick up on page 236, talking about the best practices of successful people. Listen, you want to find out what successful people do and practice some of those things. We talked about millionaires. What do millionaires do? They drive used vehicles, etc. So, it's not that, you just find out what do you want to do, what do you want to be, and then look and see what people have done and their pathway. And your pathway may vary. You can't like copy somebody because people have different, it's a different time, different place, etc. All right, but here we go. And some of these we've already talked about, like you have to start somewhere. You got to fight fear because you might, well, I don't know if I should do that. Listen, I have 5 kids and some of them are risk takers and some aren't. Okay, so you got to fight fear and you got to ignore the haters because someone say, well, no, stay humble and hungry. I mean, don't stay humble and just be hungry. Always want to go to the next level and then give to others. Then at the bottom of the page, you can read the paragraph that Dave has on contentment. And it's true. There are people making 150,000 and they're broke. Broke. I have talked to people making over 200,000 and they are broke. And I've talked to people making 35,000 and they're fine. All right, so let's just keep all that in mind. Contentment is the key. And then, of course, you're going to learn along the way. You're going to edit, make some adjustments. You're going to master stuff, get better at it, harvest, reap the benefits of your expanded skills and knowledge and so on. And then 5, guiding. You can lead others. Hey, notice in the middle of page 237 what Warren Buffett said. Now, if you don't know who Warren Buffett is, I'm just going to go on a limb and say he's probably in our lifetime the most respected investor out there. He still lives in the same house he bought in the 1950s. He's a multi-billionaire, like one of the richest guys in the world. And anyway, but he's like 90, 91 years old. He's getting up there. And here's what he said. I was lucky to have the right heroes. And so once again, who are your heroes going to be? And who are you reading and who are you listening to and all that? Because your heroes they're gonna matter and they're going to impact your life. They are. So just keep that in mind and you can read that. That's just really good stuff. Now on page 238, when it comes to job search and resume, and I know there's a sample resume on 239, but boy, these things change. What works, what doesn't work. Everybody's got a different opinion, and there's no probably right way where it has to be only one way. So this can get you started. Obviously, I would recommend you probably go on the internet and look at some really good resumes and go from there in this day and age. All right. Well, on the job hunting side on page 238, just remember companies don't come looking for you. They have a specific need. And maybe it's at Indeed.com or whatever, and that's what they need. So, and they need someone to meet a need. They're not just looking for employees. They're looking for somebody who can fulfill a need. So develop a strategy, identify your target job or employer, and then learn. And learn about the company. Maybe you don't want to work there. All right? Okay, but do all that. Now, at least when you do your resume, you'll have a little introduction letter of sorts. And of course, it's going to have a cover letter. Then you got a resume. And then after you send it in, make a phone call. All right. Follow it up. Make sure they got it. All right. I know a lot of everything's done by email. And honestly, today, most people will respond, hey, we've got it. And so on. Okay. Interviews and jobs come from persistent follow-up and networking. Now, networking can be huge, all right? If you know someone who works somewhere, that's really huge, all right? And so on. And of course, and once again, you're going to look at maybe different cities and, well, I'd like to live here. And when you're single, you've got a lot of options and a lot of opportunities, all right? So just keep that in mind. Maybe you want to live in Georgia, you look for a particular type of job, and so on. So you just go through all that stuff. Don't just make a quick snap decision and decide, oh, this is what I'm going to do, here's what I'm going to do, and that's it. So think about it, explore your options, all right? So when it comes to interviews, Dave's advice, present yourself well, because you're the product. All right. And so make it the best one available. Be on time. Don't show up late. Address everyone by name. And I know the book says offer a firm, confident handshake. But as you know, I think handshakes are out right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't know what the proper thing is. This elbow thing's not working for me. Okay. So maybe a fist pump would work a lot better, but I don't know what's going to fly. And then maintain eye contact. Don't go like that all the time when you're talking to somebody. Look them straight in the eye and talk to them. All right. Hey, and if you go for an interview and I don't have a cup nearby and you take a sip, keep looking at them. All right. When you take that sip. All right. Don't go like this. I want you, if you're talking to them and they're talking to you, take a sip, keep looking at them. Keep that eye contact. That'll be good. All right. And then designate a time to follow up after the interview and do it. Say, hey, okay, Tom, so I'm gonna email you next Thursday, just to follow up a little bit. Say, is that okay? Yeah, okay. So then next Thursday morning, boom, you send him an email. All right. And he's expecting it. So that's fine. All right. And then after the interview, wouldn't hurt. I guess send them a thank you note. Now, don't send them, don't go overboard. Just a real simple thank you. And it could be in an email or in a text, because I don't know how the communication's taking place. Everybody's going to be different. All right. All right. Then obviously some interview basics. Don't slouch, Hey, don't do that. Don't chew gum. And you just go through that, all right? When you go in, be organized, all right? Don't drop any balls, all right? After the interview, there you go, all right? And I've already talked about taxes, page 243. You are going to pay federal income tax, state income tax, and your FICA, that's your Social Security, 7.5%, all right? All right, you got more things listed there. You can read through that, all right? And I really don't need to spend time on that. But the portfolio income, that's just like if you were, say, to buy stocks, make some money, you sell it, you pay taxes on the money you made. All right. And that's going to vary. And the laws there are different. If you hold a stock for less than a year, it's taxed at one rate. And if you hold it longer, it's taxed at another rate. So anyway, I'm not going to get into all those details. That's way beyond what we need to get into. But I do want to do this, and I want to wrap up the chapter looking at the money in review on page 248. All right, so number 1 is C. Number 2 is H. 3 is A. 4 is A. 4 is E. Sorry. 5 is B. 6 is G, 7 is F, and that leaves D for number 8. All right, let's look at number 9. Once you define your dream, your goals should be the practical application of how you're going to accomplish your dream. True, all right? Number 10, taxes are an optional contribution. False. No, taxes come out before you see anything. Number 11, the IRS is responsible for tax collection and tax law enforcement. Number 12, what's the difference between gross pay and net pay? Gross pay is what they offer you. Net pay is what you bring home after the taxes. Okay? All right. And number 13, sales and excise taxes are both taxes on consumption. All right. Number 14, would you do something you did not like in order to make a higher income? Hey, why or why not? And people are all over the place on this, all right? Say, well, I don't care. I'm making more money. It's fine. I'll be okay. All right. Number 15, why is it important to understand different personalities? Well, I'll tell you, here's a quick illustration. So I knew a woman. She was high-eyed, loved to interact with people. She took a job, and she was the only person in the office. And then she said, well, I don't even like this job. Well, that's because it doesn't fit your personality. All right, so understand how you're wired. Important things to do for a job interview. You can go back, look at the list. Number 17, what's the difference between gross and net? We've discussed that. And number 18, you can read that. Biggest takeaway on those 5 things, like fight fears, get started, etc. What would be your biggest takeaway? All right, that wraps up chapter 11. And then we'll come back next time and get into our final chapter, chapter 12.